That's amazing.
So it sounds like we're going to be recording three different ways. I've connected to YouTube, but I'm not sure if it's going to stream properly. And then we have it also being streamed um, on our
Okay.
teams.
I saw the
So
live banner just pop up. It says the content of this meeting is being sent to one or more apps. So
yes,
that sounds helpful.
it did that last week also, and it didn't
Okay.
record anything. So we have a couple different backups, so someone will be able to report. So if you
Okay.
want to get started, feel free to go ahead. Thank you.
Sure. So I'm going to call to order the June 11th, 2025 Akron Public Art Commission meeting. We have several things on the agenda today, including a submittable. While we have quorum here, one of the first things I want to get across is the work plan that we've went over for like the past 3 months. So everyone should have a copy of it. There are contingent funds in there. With the contingent funds, again, I think the idea is to probably put those towards a project that we're going to be able and have capacity and a plan to execute this year. Remembering that the commission's goals is to get art onto public infrastructure and major thoroughfares, which was part of the goals that we established and that Kat and John and other commissioners established early during the commission's history. So I think what we're looking at doing is getting additional funding submitted from various other sources, but then to also use some of our own funding to do traffic box wraps and maybe one community mural project per summer. And I know Jessica would probably want to help with that because she wanted to be able to do more stuff in our communities. So again, those funds are contingent on the work plan. And then there was funds set aside for maintenance. So we have to start talking about how to do maintenance and what we're going to apply maintenance funds towards. Um, so if everyone's reviewed that work plan, which I think everyone has, because I think John sent it out and I sent it out the month before, if we could take a vote, if everyone's in favor of, adopting the work plan, understanding that the projects listed on the work plan are contingent and that we would still vote on individual projects, if I could get a motion so we could get that out of the way.
I can motion for us to vote.
So
For-
Megan DeLong motions and John Fume seconds. So everyone who's motioning to is this Megan, is this a motion to vote or is this a motion for the approving the work plan?
Don't we have to vote to approve it?
Well, that's what, yeah. So I'm asking for a motion to approve the work plan, I guess.
Yes, this is a
Okay.
motion to approve.
Okay.
Yes.
Second it, and then it opens up for any discussion before you call for the full
Yep,
vote.
for sure. So does anyone have any comments? Eric, Roberta, Jessica.
No, no.
Okay, great. Yeah. So all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, Summer. So we have quorum. So we're adopting the work plan that was sent out, including the budget with the contingencies. So I know we have additional updates. We were talking about doing commission meetings live in several of the months coming up, including July. So I wanted to get everyone's pulse on how you felt about coming in live. And I remember Summer said it would be hybrid. So if you can't make it in, you could still join live through Zoom, but I'm going to go in person. I'm okay with doing that. And Summer, correct me if I'm wrong, is it in city council chambers? I don't know if she's on or if she's still working with the
I'm
stream.
on, yeah, that's correct. It would be hosted in city council chambers. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you guys could look at the months coming up and if you're going to be able to attend virtually or in person, you might not know ahead of time yet, but if you plan to come in person, if you want to like let us know so we can kind of get a pulse on, getting in there live. I know the mayor mentioned when John, Eric, and Roberta and I and Summer all went to meet with the mayor, he mentioned coming in and doing live meetings again as a commission. I think it's a good way to, get into the actual city, into the council chambers and, be more connected with the official process that we're doing. I get to see each other live and connect a little bit more. So if you guys have any questions about that, feel free to email me or Summer. We can follow up on that. Um, did you guys all get the submittable PDF that I sent out? So I have one question, and I think John had the same question before the meeting. Summer, I think that in the submittable package, it mentioned that you were sent like more detailed plans or some sort of package about the actual beautification art or project, and that wasn't actually in the submittable to download. So I guess I wasn't sure about some of the specifics about what's being done with the sidewalks. Are you able to talk more to that?
I think we were saying
the same idea that Mac Left did with the Black Lives Matter. I think
I did
that's what they were
that,
saying.
yeah.
Like they want that, they want to adopt something like that for that street. Am I right, Summer?
I'm sorry, I was doing two different things. My apologies.
Oh, you're good.
And I thought she said before we started too, like they're not gonna be here, so we don't have to talk about that today.
Yeah, yeah. So we can just skip that and move on until they're ready, and then they can answer all those questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing would be talking about doing another round of the traffic box projects. So on the work plan, there was a item about doing more traffic box wraps. My idea for that was we got the 50K in funding from the mayor this year, and we'll be able to do more next year in just 6 months from now, which is coming pretty close, you know. So we can talk about projects, maintenance plan, and things that we want to do in the coming years, assuming we get more funding. But I think that the traffic box wraps, if you guys saw it on social media, were very well received, and I think it's awesome seeing so much, you know, local art from public artists up in the community. It got a lot of press. And so I think there's a lot of excitement about getting more traffic box wraps up. So I wanted to see what your guys' pulse was on doing more traffic box wraps in line with what we had on the work plan.
I'm like I said, I get it. It is beautiful. I just wish we could think of something that would go quicker and yeah, that could be done faster. I feel like because everybody's doing a traffic box signal, I like for us to do like think outside the box and think of something else that we could do that contribute to, you know, supporting artists in Akron and showcasing their work too.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to talk to you about because I think that there's only so much we can do with the traffic boxes too. Going into future years, you know, maybe we want to do like murals on parking decks, or maybe we want to use the art database and look at specific neighborhoods. If you could come up with specific ideas, we're gonna have to start creating the work plan for next year in the coming months. And so if you could actually come up with some ideas that we could start talking about and developing into like more plans or something more concrete with a strategy we can put into the work plan, that we could start seeing about how we could try to fit that in next year, pending getting funds to work on things. So that would be great.
I will
Okay,
say one
we can do
thing,
that.
because I can't get on live TV. My apologies.
Okay. No worries.
But I know that this is something, as far as traffic signal boxes, I do understand that a lot of people are now doing it. As John knows, we were trying to do it years ago. Finally, we got the go ahead. I think a second round would be important to do, because we've said that, right? We've said it out loud. We've recorded it by saying we would do a second round. So, and I think the mayor would like a second round also of the traffic signal boxes. That's part of, you know, when we met with him, we talked about different ways of utilizing funding if we had it. More traffic signal boxes is one of them.
I agree with that.
But we have the support of the $50,000. So we can't just get the money and then change our plans. Doing a mural on a parking deck, we could still do something like that too. But I also know in some of his meetings and speaking engagements for Arts Now and other entities, he stated that he wants more traffic signal boxes, and there may be more funding in the future to do more traffic signal boxes.
And besides what the mayoral administration wants, the commission itself established that one of our goals was foremost, before we start doing a bunch of other stuff, to invest in getting more public art on major thoroughfares. So things like the sidewalk beautification project are nice, but the traffic signal boxes are kind of a high quality, relatively permanent way to get a lot of local art up throughout different neighborhoods as well, and busy intersections and places where we're going to get more visibility. And so that's just aligning with the goals that we set early on as a commission from our predecessors as well.
And I understand that, but I also feel like we are in a stage where, like, this is the cool thing, so we're jumping on the trend. Like, you know, we could think outside the box and find some better things to do too. Like, I'm not knocking the traffic signal. I'm not knocking it. I just felt like it was a long, drawn out process that, you know, I didn't want to like go through again. But if that's what we got to do, we can do it again. My thing is, I mean, people are going to, I mean, it's something new that people are seeing in Akron. Of course, you know, people want to jump on that bandwagon. I get that. But I feel like if we got the money to use the money more efficiently and, you know, save time and money and energy, like we should consider that. But it is what it is.
I agree that the process that we did last time was not efficient. And so something I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a system for voting for and curating the art that comes in because it was a mess last time and it took us way too long. We need a better process for voting and working through the art. So that's definitely something that I want to work on. And it's something that we need to be able to do in the future anytime we do a call for artists. And so I am going to sit down and think about some sort of system that we can implement to make it easier to talk about these things because that's going to be necessary for projects other than traffic signal boxes for the commission moving forward as well.
Don't
And that
forget
was
about
frustrating. Yeah.
Don't forget about all the decisions that we've already made. So we already
Mhm.
have all the parameters set. So we're ready to go. We're really
Yeah.
ready to. And I
We
will say,
also already have the contractor, which is really nice, by the way. We don't have to, go back and do too much else. And I think we have a discount if we do more traffic boxes with the current contractor. Summer can talk more to the specifics on that if she's allowed, but
the only thing, not to confuse it already, but the only thing I'd want to make sure if we don't need to send that out as RFP to give others an opportunity, but nonetheless, we have all the parameters. And I will say that the
Mhm.
impact, at least through my feedback lines of communication, has been very positive. So I think the commission here should be very proud of what we've accomplished, even though it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get there, because it is actually doing what the intended goal was to increase interest, but also to beautify some of these intersections and things of that sort. So a lot of positive comments have been received.
And I
Yeah.
agree too, because I've heard a lot of, like you said, positive comments about it. And
Mhm.
Councilwoman Sharon O'Connor, she said that the box at the corner of Newton and Cyberlings just um, it needs a wrap. And she it's near the school and it's near Reservoir Park, and that would be a good location too. And she also suggested that maybe we could get the local businesses or something to donate towards the boxes because they
I
are kind
said
of
that the first time.
expensive. Yeah,
Yep,
they
I
are
said that the first
expensive.
time. Just like
Yeah,
when we was talk about the Krispy Kreme donut, we should
the
have talked to
donut.
Krispy Kreme like, "Hey, y'all want to help donate some money?" So yeah, yeah, I said that the first time.
Oh, for the
I'm really happy
upkeep.
we're getting good
Yeah.
feedback. I honestly, to be honest, and I'm always gonna be honest and transparent, I have not heard good
Mhm.
feedback. I have heard like, okay, yeah, it's beautiful, but what about this street? How we got this nice, pretty box, but this hole in the street? Like I'd be hearing stuff like that. So I'm glad that y'all are hearing positive things,
Yeah,
but
I
I don't
agree.
think
That's a separate issue.
I haven't heard. Yeah, I know, which is
Well,
weird.
when you
People
in
go, people
Yeah.
comments,
gonna say what they're gonna
Jessica,
say.
like
The holes in the
like
roads will
being part
always
of the
be there. We're in
commission, when you share
Ohio,
those
so
comments,
Facts.
we
Huh?
we should be reporting those comments, right?
This up,
So
I think,
if
a
there's
little
a
bit too much. Go ahead, Summer.
if there's a
I didn't.
hole in the street, we don't always know where potholes are, right? So it's up to the residents to let us know. So if you're hearing that kind of information, shoot me an email and say, hey, Summer, people are talking about the traffic signal box, but there's a hole in the street on Copley and Hawkins. So then I can then send that to our service team to rectify. We don't want to make things like, we're a joke of the city. We're trying to do the work and keep our community safe. But in the background, we as residents still have to do our part by reporting things that need to be fixed, right?
Okay.
So,
Sorry, Summer.
no, you're fine.
I got limited time and I don't want to deter an public art commission on road repair. I'm sorry, I don't want to go down that path.
Yep.
We are here for the Akron Public Art. And even though there's good feedback, bad feedback, I've heard nothing but good feedback, especially from the local high schools and the kids that way. That's all I care about, right? So mixing it up, hey, can we use this money somewhere else? No, that's not our job. Our job is Akron Public Art, right? So, and making sure it's getting exposure and beautifying what we have and our passion in it. I know it was a long drawn out process in the beginning, Jess, but again, that was our first time going through that, right? So now we have the system, we created the will. It should just spin at this point. It's just now sitting there going through the art selection process and getting in the locations and getting it done, right? So that's my 2 cents. That's the one to speak to that. But let's stay on the agenda and let's keep this thing moving forward, please.
So on that note, if we guys are interested in moving forward, we can prepare a new call for artists. That's going to be the first thing. We can look into whether we need to issue a new RFP or whether we can stick with the existing contractor, based off of prior talks that we already had. and we can start to think about a new system for, curating how the art comes in for the call for artists and how we're going to vote on these specific traffic box locations. And we can also go back to a lot of the information we already had pulled from GIS originally regarding those traffic box locations and kind of mark off the areas where we already provided traffic boxes. And so we can start doing this process, but I think what we would want to do as a commission is just take a vote. If somebody wants to motion to move forward with the traffic box project, to the amount set forth in the work plan for the estimated cost for each of those traffic boxes is the maximum amount to spend from the budget. And maybe we can make it, if we can vote that, leave that open so we could vote again, that if we want to put more of the budget towards more, we can. But I just maybe like setting it for now up to that maximum amount for that estimate that was provided for in the work plan for that contingent project. So if you guys want to work on it, I guess, if someone wants to make a motion to do the traffic box projects in 2025, just to do another round.
So I make a motion to begin the process for the second round of the traffic boxes. Up to, what's the budget amount again? I closed it.
Yeah, I don't have the work plan open either. I'm on my work.
Excuse me. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Here it is.
What we
Up
spent, I think
to-
it was 32,000
Mhm.
for the first round. And that was 27,336.73 for the company for the 20 boxes. And then we paid a total of $5,000. That was for 20.
Oh yeah, Summer, I have an estimate based off of the quotes and stuff prior. So I think we should just go off the estimated amount that we set forth in the work plan that we just put through, just as the max amount.
So for quotes up to 60 to be up to $48,000. That's what's in the budget.
For the work plan that I said.
Yeah, for payment of for 2025 traffic box rep project, it's $48,000.
And what was the rest for maintenance?
Maintenance, you have down 9,500.
Okay.
And the maintenance of the
Could you
public.
share it? I'm like having trouble remembering.
Yeah, I'll forward it to you.
Thanks. Can you forward it to Andy Hillier at FICO.com on my other email up today? I've been traveling a bunch, so I don't have my laptop with me.
How do you spell what?
Oh, it's just HILLIER
At
FICO.com.
FIC what?
FICO, like FICO score.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So I make the motion that we begin the second round of traffic box wrapping or what have you. Up to $48,000.
Right.
Second that
Actually, there's $8,000 in there for selected artists. So up to 60,000. So that this motion would allow for the RFP to go out for the vendor as well as dollars for artists.
A question, John. I thought there was going to be a mural with that funding too.
I think that it was
So
contingent.
you had on there, and I'm trying to find it, but it was supposed to have been another round of the traffic signal boxes per previous discussion, and then also a mural.
Okay, so this was the this might be an older budget that's not based off the 50,000 because this is based off the 80,000 requested appropriations as opposed to like the updated work plan. So there was a version after this one that was based off of the 50K appropriated funds instead of the 60 or the 80.
I do not see the updated version.
Here, let me pull. I think I might be able to get it. One sec.
But I think I'm sharing my screen with Teams. So I don't know if I can share my screen again.
We're doing it. I'm gonna find it. I have like 5 copies of that thing on my computer. Should only take
I
a
just
second.
sent it to you all.
Uh, sure. And let me pull up, make sure I get the most recent version on my desktop. Art Commission, budget 2025 updated. 5/12/2025 would be the most updated one. And that is assuming appropriations granted to APAC from general fund in current year, 50,000. So in this one, what's allocated then is 20,000 total. So 15,000 for the traffic box wrap project, plus 5,000 for payment of selected artists, up to a total of 20,000. And then there was 25,000 contingent for a mural project. But these are contingent funds. So if we wanted to do more or less for the traffic box project, we could adjust that. So again, when we approve the work plan, these projects were contingent, so to be voted on, so the funds could vary within that.
Andy, can you send that directly out to the team, please?
Yeah.
All right, so then I'll revise the motion. So it's $20,000 total to begin the work on the traffic boxes. I want to keep that relatively, I just want to get the approval to start the work on it, and I want to keep it
Right.
relatively open because I really want to make sure that we've identified the number of
Mhm.
traffic boxes and the number of artists, because that may not actually match up.
So I did base it off of the quotes received prior, as well as the payments that we made towards artists to get a certain amount, and that information's included in the work plan, which I can send out to you guys here. But like you said, it might not match up exactly. I think it could cost less than what I estimated. So we might be able to do more within the selected budget, from information that Summer's giving me on what we actually paid. Because I remember they were based off of a conservative estimate of like what a average or larger size traffic box would cost. One second, I have to log into their Wi-Fi here. Um,
I think I sent it out. Did you guys get
did
my
you?
email?
Okay, not sure. Yeah, I got one from you. You see here. Yeah, this is the right one.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
just
and
click
there's
on that.
yeah, and there's source files in the bottom. So there's a APAC budget, and in that Excel spreadsheet that's embedded in the bottom of that Word doc, there's the estimate breakdown for this stuff. So the source files. Um,
Or did you send
yeah,
that to all of us?
Yes, I did. I sent it to the whole group.
and I kind of agree with John on leaving it open. So maybe what we can do is we can motion to start the work, and then we can approve the total budget that we want to put towards it in a future meeting. That way we can start issuing a call for artists. We don't necessarily need to, we can receive art without having a defined amount of boxes or art, pieces yet that we want to assign to the boxes. So we could always motion to start that just to start the process.
All right, so we need a second.
This is Roberta. I'll second it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a
This
motion
is-
to
Oh, yeah,
generally
sorry.
approve the project. In terms of, the budget's not determined yet, right? But to just start the work for the second round of traffic boxes from John Fume and a second from Roberta Rogers. So all in favor of that, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, so that gives us quorum. So the motion is approved.
Andy. Oh,
Mhm.
never mind. It just came in.
Oh, you're good. We have one other kind of topic to talk about, which is about meeting minutes. We don't have meeting minutes since like January. And Summer said that I know we were talking about getting city support and staff, but it sounds like Summer has talked to the city and hasn't really been able to get support staff despite asking for support, and that it's not generally available. Um, so she was asking about the potential for retaining Haley to fill out meeting minutes from the recorded videos of some of our past meetings. Now, there's two past meetings. There was one that was canceled and there was one that wasn't recorded for not counting as a meeting. So this rate would be, Summer could talk about that, but essentially would only be covering a few of the meetings that occurred earlier this year.
So I think it would cover January, March, April. Was that 3 months? January, March, April, 3
Yes.
months. So I did speak with Haley. She said she would, love to help out again. But it would be $30 per meeting. So you're
Mhm.
looking at $90 that will come out of your funding. And it can come out of the donation piece, so you're not conflicting the city funding. All I need is a approval, go ahead, and then I will contract her to do it.
Thoughts, John, Eric, I know we were talking about using AI potentially. We're not AI, what should I say? Just a transcription service, which is not really AI, to be honest. We were looking at using auto transcription or something similar for the meeting minutes. I'm not sure if we got anywhere with that. I know we still have the recordings, so I wasn't sure what sort of progress was made, and I haven't followed up outside of the meeting, so that's on me, which is my bad. But I was curious what everyone's thoughts were and where we were at with that.
I'm good either way. It just needs to get done.
Yeah, I'm okay with Haley doing
I
it.
make the motion to approve paying Haley to
Yeah.
do the minutes from the last 3 meetings. With the caveat that we explore the use of technology
Mhm.
moving forward. We need an answer there. So
I
Okay.
did speak with IT regarding the recording, and if we could do these meetings on Teams rather than Zoom. They are working through it, is what have been told a few
Okay.
times, to try to figure out how to record through Teams and make it live on YouTube. So that's the hiccup. These meetings have to be recorded where people can watch live.
And Teams has transcription services automatically too. Teams
Good.
transcripts of everything and summaries, so that's something to look into as well.
So I'm
So
just
I
waiting
can
back
help
from
look
IT
into
for
that.
that.
I can help look into that too. I'll write a note about that. I have time off. I'm done, research assistant. I'm only working full time for the next few weeks. So I have time to look at things.
we need a
Yeah,
second
so
on.
John made a motion essentially to approve Haley to pay for the last 3 months with the contingency that we're going to look into transcription services or other ways to ease preparation of the meeting minutes going forward. Could we get a second?
I second that motion.
We have a second from Eric Reynolds. So all in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
All right,
I'm
Summer.
sorry, I did not include June, so it would be 4. My apologies, because we have this month too that we're on this call, so it'll be
So I
4.
revised my motion for the last 4 meetings. Need a second real quick, and then Eric, can you second that real quick?
I second.
All right, John
That
made a
motion.
motion. Eric seconded the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I do have a question.
Mhm.
I do have a question. It doesn't really affect our voting or anything. Do we still know if Akron documenters from Signal are able to see our meetings live? I know that they normally come to government meetings, but I don't know, since we weren't able to have the last one. Is anyone here right now? Can we see
There's
that
no
or
one on
anything?
YouTube right now.
You can see them on
I
YouTube.
think when you made that comment last time, I haven't seen minutes since. And they were really, really good minutes, but it was like the end of last year. So I think when that comment was made, I have not, and I've been searching. I've been going on Signal's website looking to see where the minutes are, and I have not seen them since. So I guess maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So I did look into that and I did review. I can reach out to Signal and ask, but I didn't see it when I was looking for it.
So I think, Andy, is that all we have to vote on? Because I have to scoot.
Yeah, John, you're good to go. That's
Thanks,
everything that we're
everyone.
voting on today. Yeah, of course. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. I do have a quick question for
Of course.
the team. So you voted on moving forward with the traffic signal boxes, but what does that look like?
So we established we're gonna do another call for artists. So I have a template from last time, and Jessica helped put together the statement for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run that by everyone again. I'll make an updated call for artists and send it out to everyone just as a starting point to kind of anchor everyone. And then from there, we can have a discussion between this meeting and the next on how we want to format that. And then Summer, if you could look into with legal, if we're still allowed to just use central graphics versus doing a new RFP, I think that most of us would prefer to do less work. I think I did a lot of the RFP stuff last time, but there was a significant amount of discussion getting that out, and so it would be nice if we could just use the same contractor um, and just move forward with it. And then I'm going to look into setting
Right.
up a system for voting on the art that we get in so that we can vote effectively. Because last time it was a little bit of a mess, going through and selecting the locations and then applying it. So I think we need to add context to each of the pieces, because we selected pieces, but we weren't very location aware when we selected them. So there were some pieces where they were tied, like coupled highly to a location. They can't be placed in random spots. So those ones we need to get out of the way first. So we need a better process for that.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
want to say it was a
I thought what we did was a
Mhm.
great process because each person had a say in where they would like these to go, and then we voted on each one.
I
I was
like that.
comfortable
Yeah.
with that.
No, that was
Yeah,
good, but
so
it kind of evolved over time, right? Like I think what we started doing was just voting, and then I think we evolved the process as we were learning what was working and not, and then finally got to the end.
maybe I
And
came in at the end with that because
Mhm.
again, I want to see the location where they're going and then what selections of art we have, and we can pick from that selection to
Mhm.
that specific box, right? Same
Yeah.
thing we did last time. So, um, I agree. I don't know if you need a system to do that because then, unless pictures and locations are included in your system, it's pointless because you're just picking
Well, I can
artwork
include
for.
pictures or whatever I want in my system, so we can put all that
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
I just
I
think there might be a
understand
better way.
100% what you're saying. That
Yeah.
was because I think like we see a picture, then we had to go to another page to find out
Yeah.
what location they wanted. Like that was not cohesive. It was not an
Yeah,
easy,
no, I
smooth
just want to
process.
get everything in one spot. So instead
Yeah,
of it just being pictures on the Microsoft
yes,
form, what I want to do is I want the pictures to be tied to locations, and
yes.
I want all of the available traffic box locations to be like, the art that if there's an art that says Chapel Hill, it can only go
Mhm.
to a traffic box in Chapel Hill, and just set those
Yeah.
things ahead of time so we don't have to deliberate them so much. Because
Yeah, not
That would be
according to
helpful.
y'all. Not
yeah.
according to y'all. Y'all were trying to put Chapel Hill out at Summit Mall. I was like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
we can bite
well,
that
and
stuff early. So
you
that
know, this was the beginning the first time, and I think Haley
yeah.
did a wonderful job
She did
with
great. That
the
was a
tools
lot
that
better
she
than the
had
spreadsheet
to do the
process.
locations,
Yeah.
to you know, get all the boxes and all of that stuff. So her being an
Yeah.
intern, doing that work, I think she did a good job. I don't think it was a mess because it worked out, right?
No,
But
see, the process wasn't a mess. It was
by
just
you being
going
part of
in
the
and
commission,
It was
now
not
you know
user
that you
friendly.
can move
yeah,
forward and create your own data, right? Because this is the commission doing this work.
yeah.
So,
No, I wasn't saying
um,
the Microsoft form or Haley's process was a mess. I was saying that we weren't organized, and then Haley came in at the end and fixed it by giving us the Microsoft form so we could actually vote and then bringing stuff. I think without Haley, we probably couldn't have got the thing done, because none of us between the meetings were organizing stuff.
so what do
Um,
you need from me to provide to you? Because you all have all that information. Do I need to resend it as far as all of the locations? What is it that
It
you
would be
need?
great if you resent the locations. I would like that. And I can talk to you more about what, if I'm gonna like help come up with a system for putting stuff together that's similar to what Haley put together to tie, art to locations and stuff. I think having the locations ahead of time would be nice.
And as
And
far as
does
the
anyone else
contractor,
have, I'm sorry.
let me just say this in my business, and this is what I do. This would just be considered an ad service and extension of your original contract.
I
Right.
So
agree. Yeah,
we
I
don't
think
have to go out with another RFP for another contractor. So I don't know where legal would come up with the reason to do that, but it should just be an extension of the original contract.
That is correct, Eric. But I still will reach out to legal because they have to do the extension.
sometimes there's a
So that's
competitive
what
bid process for amounts over 10,000 to 20,000. It's really common doing bids on proposals for things around small dollar amounts. Sometimes there's a threshold where there's a procurement requirement, and that's for businesses. But I don't know legally for the city of Akron. what that is.
It
But
can't be.
sometimes,
It can't be 10,000, man. There's no way.
oh, I'm saying for
It's got
some,
to be in the six
I'm saying
figures.
that's a common threshold for like
Yeah.
smaller contracts. If something's under 10,000, you don't even need procurement. You can just acquire
No, this
services.
is government, so we do need permission to do things.
Yeah.
I think over $5,000. So
Okay. Yeah, that
I do
makes
have
sense.
my notes to reach out to law and just ask them for an extension. And then I will
Okay.
follow up with you guys to let you know that it has been approved. I will resend the locations, but
Okay.
also you all represent a ward. You all know where art needs to be. I know I've been saying this for quite some time. What areas in your ward, in your neighborhood, do you think there needs to be art?
I have a few ideas
Um,
already since the last one's got installed. So I
that's
have about 5 places I already thought about it as I drove now. So
that's fine. And then I've also been taking pictures of locations where I think there's a need for art too within the city of Akron of places that I travel. So if you
Yeah,
all
we
can just
we
put your
we
minds
all
together.
did that. Yep, we all did that before where we thought it was. So just submit it to the group and let's move forward.
Yeah. And then Andy, you can put all that together. So
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Andy, what's next on the agenda?
So the next thing really is maintenance plan. Who wants to volunteer to look into creating a formal maintenance plan? We need to we have funding, we want to put it towards maintenance. We need to have a process for identifying things that need to be maintained. The real big place to start with that is Mac's database. We should go into Mac's database and look at the public pieces he identified that are in poor condition. We should look for the ones that are the most standing, or even just ask Mac for those because he presented them to us in a report. And we should get a report of those and we should just start looking through them. So if someone wants to volunteer to do that with me, I would like to schedule a time to go into Mac's office and get the data from him. But
You should have the
Slow down.
data.
One step at a time, Andy. Let's go back
it's one
to the
step. It's just
maintenance
going to
plan.
GIS to look at things. That is the maintenance plan. It's just you have to look at the damaged art in the GIS. That's the database. So it's one
But
step.
that's not a plan. That's the next step, right? Developing the plan of the maintenance process is step one.
We have to have an idea of the scope
Identifying
of
the
we have to have an idea of the scope of the work, and the schedule and the resources and stuff that are going to be acquired to think of like what we're going to do in terms of a plan for this year. I don't want to just start, without any sort of idea of what we're looking at. If it's a bunch of small pieces, right, or if it's like several larger pieces we can target, maybe we might want to look at approaching those in different ways on a year by year basis. So I just want to have a better idea of what's out there. And get more information and then start developing like a standard operating procedure or process.
I just think we're throwing a lot of crap. Let's start with the maintenance plan. Do we have to hire someone for this, or is this something the commission wants to do?
Developing the maintenance plan. I think the
Right.
maintenance and deaccession of art and stuff falls under the responsibilities of the commission, so we could hire somebody for it. Now, in the work plan, there is, funds, allocated towards, maintenance of the public art inventory and stuff to selected contractor. So there's that too. And so, in terms of performing maintenance services, Mac's business actually will help maintain art in like a conservatory aspect. But I think some pieces might require conservatorship, whereas other ones might just be able to be repaired simply by a non-conservator. And so I think those are the kind of things we need to identify, but we need to look at the database to kind of understand the scope of those different things and categorize them. I don't know how much art is damaged that would require a conservator to maintain it. Like something like a mural, you'd want an artist to go in and repair that, right? As opposed to something that's like needs to be like bolted back together. You might be able to have people from the city
Right.
go do it.
Right.
Megan?
I also wonder, like, when should we step in for maintenance? Like, because Max data has things from like there's a scratch to this is almost completely destroyed.
Oh, I
So I'm
agree.
like, yeah, so I wonder where, like, should we be focusing on the things that are like really easy to fix, but are like really super small and may not be
Right.
noticeable from like a distance? Or should we start at things like closer in the middle?
I completely agree. And I think that's part of the reason why before we, jump in, I think we need to understand more about what's out there. and what the level of like, poor quality art is and what those pieces are and what sort of services they might require and whether we need to hire a professional conservator to work on them because we're not going to necessarily go out and paint them, right? We can't just tell the city to, like Eric mentioned. So I think we need to understand these things. And so I think a good first step is either going, I think maybe can just go to City GIS now or the GIS website or somewhere we can get access to the database, right? We just need to start looking at the database. So if people want to volunteer, I would like to just sit down and it would be nice to invite Mac to help talk to us. Um, but like basically just to talk through the poor condition art in the database and see what's there so we can start to understand how to approach this.
Am I missing this? But I thought that was already included in what Mac submitted.
Maintenance, I think Mac left it open, so it's whatever services they offer in terms of having a contract with Mac, but I don't know that we ever
Not
accepted a contract with Matt.
not maintenance, the condition of the art.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that is.
Max
I think it is
provided
included.
a
Yeah.
report to everyone, and he also came on a few
Yeah,
different times
so
and went over the art. His job is done because we've paid him. He's done his job that we asked of him to do. Now to have him come back on and go over, things step by step again, that's something you guys want to look into. He did provide um, two different proposals to do this work. And if they needed to hire someone to do something that they don't specialize in,
Sure.
he did present proposals. You all have received those proposals a few different
Yeah,
times.
Summer. So we did look at
So
those, but you were mentioning talking to the city about potentially a different funding source for paying for that. And so I was curious
no,
where the talk
no,
ended up.
that's not correct, Andy. What I was doing was talking to our GIS team to see if they can put it in the GIS system. But they stated that it's going to come from they're going to have
Not the
need
public art database,
let me let
Mac's other contract. Mhm.
there
Are
were
you
two different options from the GIS team. One was if they were to do it, they would need overtime. The second option was to give Matt authorization to do it, but Max still needed to be paid. So either or, someone has to be paid to do this job. Um, I have to set up another discussion with GIS to see what all it's going to take so that we can move forward with this because we still have not even presented this art inventory to the community that was done. So we need to figure out how are we going to present this to the community to let them know that this has been done. Um, because it's been conversation, right? When people go and speak at different events, but we have not, as a Public Arts Commission,
Yeah.
put it out there that this has been
And that's actually on the work plan. So, and I think we have discussed that we need to be able to do a press release and that we need to talk to GIS and understand the funding opportunities. I will say Mac presented a contract already for this year, and that contract's based off of a rate, not necessarily a lump sum cost with a projected amount for a year. So I'm curious if based on the same contract that we received, if we could approve the amount from the adjusted contract that we asked Mac to prepare just for services for the rest of the year so it can be maintained until we're able to follow up with GIS to assess the costs from GIS and from Mac. Then we could just approve paying Mac to help with maintenance and other things for the rest of the year of the art inventory and then come back to it later.
That's a good idea.
So you
I
have
like that.
quorum right now. Is that something you would like to do?
So if we could, yeah, I mean, that would be nice. That way Mac can just help us for now so we can get started. We need to start the maintenance plan this year. We need to start putting together operating procedures and things like that now that we got some of our initial goals done. So
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Andy.
So do you all have Max contract? Can you pull it up and take a look at it?
here, one sec. My
Have
laptop's
everyone reviewed it?
not. I reviewed it and I remember I reviewed the initial contract and sent it back and said, I think we should ask for this rate and this amount of adjusted hours, which I think was 8 hours a month, I think. Um, and so it would be 8 hours a month. And that would be for just maintaining the database, adding new art to the database, like the new traffic boxes that were just installed. They're not currently included in the database. So going out and cataloging more things, adding them and tagging them. Then he could also help us in terms of like starting the maintenance plan. Matt could meet with us. We have the 8 hours, right? We could start talking through the different kinds of data collection and tagging he did for the different kinds of repairs that might be needed and whether we need a conservator or not. And then on those same hours, Mac said they would offer to do repair, maybe some conservatorship. So if there are pieces that require conservatorship, maybe we could actually have Mac on the same hours if we approve the contract, go out and actually fix some of these murals, et cetera. So
Yeah, so far as Mac's proposal, it states that inventory management and updates, new public art inventory collecting, new research, reporting and coordination with commissioners, creative and strategic consulting, training as needed for 8 hours a month, $14,880.
yep, that's the adjusted one. That sounds right. That's the newest one. So that would be a rate though per month, right? So is that just was the contract for this year, summer, like the whole year?
Forward this to you all. You all should have all this information.
Well, I
but
guess my thing
important-
is, he gave like a rate, like, and there was a total lump sum amount based off of a rate, but I was curious if I guess I need to look at the contract again. My computer died, so I can't see anything.
Okay.
But unless you could
8
share your
hours a
screen.
month for, let's see, 8 hours a month is $155.
That's a very fair rate too. I would be willing to approve the rate, for the remainder of the year. Just to start to have help.
Absolutely. This is an important step. This is one of the most important steps is we can't keep putting out nice art and we still got damaged art. That don't make sense to me.
Right.
That's for 1 year. That 14,880
Is it always from a year from the
of-
exception of contract date, or is it just till the end of 2025? Because I thought the contract was like earmarked 2025. So that's the part that's
says new
ambiguous.
art that will be installed in 2025 and beyond. So I would assume I can clarify that it would start when he accepted his deposit for the 12 months.
Oh, so it's a lump sum contract for the 12 months from whenever the contract acceptance date is.
It won't be a lump sum. It would probably come out monthly.
Oh, could we talk to him about doing like a monthly rate and just like we could approve doing it on the monthly rate up through the end of 2025 and then look at re-upping a similar contract at the beginning of next year since we're halfway through the year now. I think we originally got that contract a few months ago and now it's not so pragmatic anymore, to do the
I
full
can
year.
ask, but he already has the monthly amount on there. That's 155.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just doing the
So-
monthly rate. It would be the same thing just for 6 months instead of 12.
You can do it however you
Or
want.
5 months.
You are the commission and this is your funding. So you only want him to do it from what? July to December and see how that works.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that, and then, in that meantime, if we're able to talk to GIS to assess the costs and have something to compare, Max services versus GIS for maintenance of the database, it might be something where we get an adjusted contract from Matt for less hours for conservatorship or help with maintenance of public art. We're adding new things to the database, and then the rest of the funding goes towards GIS to have GIS do the maintenance part or the GIS part. But those are the kind of things we need to see first. So I was saying we just pay Matt the rate that's in the contract, so the same rate, but for 6 months.
Yes.
That's my idea. And then in December, on the new work plan, when we go to create a new budget, if you have information from GIS before we approve the new work plan in December or January, we can revisit it and see what the differences in costs are.
Yes. I like that.
Okay, so just to confirm and make sure I have this right, we want to go month to month, the 8 hours a month from July to
December.
Through December, yeah.
I can ask what his schedule looks like now so that if he's able to get started in June, we can say
Mhm.
June to December.
I'm okay with that too. It's more so about our work plan's going to start. And so if we're looking at our budget on a year-to-year basis, I think it makes more sense for us to align the contracts and stuff with our kind of like fiscal year we decided on. And so I think it makes sense to relook at it again in January and just take that monthly rate up through then, and then also reassess the cost of GIS maintaining the database for that section of the work.
Okay, so just to understand, $155 per hour times
Mhm.
8 hours a month, you're looking at $1,240 a month.
And that's
That we would
actually that's actually accounted for in the budget, but it would just be less of the overall budget. So there'd actually be a portion of the budget in the work plan that would have to go back into projects or something. Maybe more traffic boxes. I don't know. But it would just be less overall money than we were planning to pay Mac because we were going to do that anyways. So
So
Right.
that's 6 months left. So that's, you're looking at $8,680.
yeah, that sounds about right. Because I think
Okay.
that's half of what the original amount was, which was, what was it, 15? And then the actual contract came out to 14.8. So that makes sense for
Okay.
7 months.
I
Yeah.
will reach out to Mac by end of week, and once I get a response, then I will
Um,
let you all
okay.
know. I need a response from you all when I send it out to letting me know that, okay, so you guys can vote on it now,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and
So if
then we
someone
can
wants
move
the
forward.
motion to approve paying Mac the 8 hours a month at $155 rate to maintain the public art inventory, add new pieces of the art inventory, all the services specified in the contract, including up to advice and conservatorship to help us start the maintenance plan. If we could get a motion to approve that.
I motion to approve.
Jessica, motions to approve. Do we have a second?
Roberta, I second.
Roberta seconded. So all in favor, say aye.
Before you
Aye.
say aye, one moment, I'm sorry. Please confirm
Mhm.
June through December, if he's able to start it now, or if not, it'd be
June through
July
December, if he's able to start now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll set up a meeting with them like 2 weeks from now, basically. Yeah. So June through December would be great.
Okay.
So did everyone say aye? Did anyone not say aye? Just for my ease.
I didn't mean to not say aye. Yeah, Summer just came in. I will say aye right now.
Oh, okay.
Wait, we're good to go.
So I think we have quorum. So we're good on that, Summer.
Okay, perfect. So I'll jump on that and also send you out the locations of all the traffic signal boxes. Give me a little time for that because I need to remove the boxes that have been already
Okay.
completed. Okay.
Awesome. So I really appreciate you guys. We're officially using the funding that we got from the city. So this is a big deal. So, we got the funding from the city. We're using it. We're going to put more stuff up, and then we're going to make a case for getting more funding next year. And we're going to put some cool murals up around the city, or we're going to do something cool. I don't know. And we're going to create standard operating procedures, and the commission's going to be beautiful. And we're all going
That's
to, live long, happy lives and be happy. Probably, hopefully,
Fingers
I don't
crossed.
know.
Fingers
Um,
crossed.
Anyways,
Just like I've just been thinking like how we haven't been having quorum, or we haven't had. Do we need to revise time and date that we do this?
time and dates that we do the meetings.
Yes, because I feel like it's like we never have everybody that's supposed to be
That's
here, and it seems like it's always
That's an
like
issue with
something going
people
on.
signing up and then not showing up because technically you're only allowed to miss, I think, 2 meetings a year. And
Yeah.
then we have people missing like over, I don't know, 5 meetings a year.
So
That hasn't happened, but I'm just saying, we are getting more commissioners in, I think, as well. Summer as
yeah,
like working
so
on that. So
what up to that call to get more commissioners? Because how long is this meeting supposed to be?
The meetings
it's-
are supposed to be an hour and a half,
mhm.
Okay, I have
up to an
right.
hour and a half. And I do have 2 people that I have sent to the administration for approval, denial. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. So I already have 2 people that have been sent.
Well, do you have
So
a form
hopefully
that you can?
July we can kick it off with 2 new people. So I'll continue to push that forward.
Do you
Mhm.
have a form for us to like share with other people to get more people? Like, how many will we need to be better? Because, like I said, it wasn't just when it came to the traffic signal boxes. It wasn't just the
I agree.
companies and doing all that. It was also getting everybody
I
to come
agree.
together and say, "Hey, I like this. I don't like this." Like,
Well, no, this
it
has
seems like
taken
it's
months
always. And
because
then
we
when
haven't
we
had
get on
quorum.
these meetings
Yeah.
and people gotta leave, and I feel like we gotta
Mhm.
rush through stuff. Like,
So
I've
Jessica,
never been to a meeting. I never been to a meeting where it automatically got stopped when it was supposed to. Like, we humans, we got stuff to say. We representing the public. We got to speak for the public. So it got to be a better way.
so if you have someone in mind, I know I've said that before plenty of times. If you guys know people that are
Mhm.
interested, to let me know. But right now, we only have 2 seats open right at this present time. And I've already sent over 2 people. If they choose not, I will let you guys know. And we can see some other people, but you always have the option to refer people over.
Because I know you have said that, but I asked if we have like some kind of form where they say, hey, we're looking for commissioners. If you're interested, apply. That's what I was asking for. But if you got 2 people in mind that you're waiting to hear from, we just wait until
Yeah,
you
there's 2
tell us
people I
yes
think we're
or
waiting
no,
on council from right
and
now.
move forward.
So-
Anybody else?
So usually how it started was we did do a call for commissioners, right?
I didn't
and
hear.
then we did
I didn't hear
another
you.
one, and then we reached out to a
I
few
said I didn't
people.
hear you in the beginning. You was out.
What I said was when it started, we did do a call for commissioners. We did it twice. And then we kind of had a Rolodex of people that were interested. And then we reached out to people. That's how some of you got selected to be a part of the commission. So it could be word of mouth. It could be people interested. Signal did do a article on more commissioners. I have not received any
I haven't seen none of that.
So we do have 2 people in mind from other referrals. So let's work through that now. And then when more seats are up, then we can do another call. Or if you have a referral.
Okay. So there's no call that we personally have. You just have to make the call and let people know that's out there, right?
We'll do like a press release, but that's not what the mayor wanted at this time.
Do we know these 2 people?
I'm sorry?
Right.
Do we know who these 2 people are, or is that confidential?
You guys know. But I don't want to say it out loud right now because the mayor still has to figure out if he has to say yay or nay. So me saying their names on the record and he does not approve, that just
Yeah, it doesn't make sense
doesn't
for
look
them
good.
on their
And
behalf.
from prior times with other commissioners, I've never given you guys, names. So I don't want to, open up a can of worms and start that.
I mean, I get that. I mean, I'm not even allowed to say names. I'm just saying, like, if we know somebody, like, we don't know who you know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who I know.
These
So
are not
we have
people that I
somebody
know. These aren't people that I
equals
personally
better.
know. These are referrals and people that others have recommended. But if you have someone in particular, as before, please email me their resume.
Yeah, that's crazy how that works, right? Because in no business do you hire someone blind and they end up on your team without the team having some type of interview process with them. But I get it. I get it.
Well, I don't think any of you
Yeah,
had an
so-
interview process with each other before you came on.
Please, y'all interviewed me.
No, okay, we're not going. Okay, your foolishness right now, Eric. Okay, so
I mean, I went through 6 interviews. You know what I mean?
did
It's
not.
like,
You did not. None of you did that. You did not.
no, I get it. I'm just giving you crap. That's all.
That's okay. I receive it. So,
Yeah.
okay. Sounds like we have a plan. I'll reach out to Mac. I'll send you guys the locations.
Oh, wait,
anything
I
else?
think we lost Andy.
Yeah, he popped
Yeah, we
off.
did.
Is there anything else? Oh, here he is.
Did you get those people a deadline to get back to you, Summer?
I'm not waiting for them to get back to me. I'm waiting for mayor and staff to give the go ahead. They already have that information.
Oh, so the mayor got to say if they could be a part of the commission?
This is the mayor's commission. All of the commissions and boards are aligned with the mayor and his vision. And he has the final say on who comes on the commission. And then we have to take it to city council to vote on.
Oh, that's what that was. That's the
Even-
step.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So
city
sorry
council
about that,
is-
Summer. That was
Yeah.
the step I was talking about
Yes,
in
so there's a
being on
process
that
with the
call.
government. Yes.
Yeah, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
mayor has to approve, city council has to approve. If either one of those do not decline and it's quorum, then you move on to the next person.
Gotcha. Yep. That's the
What
step I
would
was
be
talking
somebody's
about.
reason of not letting them come in? Had that ever happened? Has it been somebody that wanted to be a part of it and they said no? What would be the
You
reason
said-
why they wouldn't?
And we should have said no to Andy. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait, what?
That's
I know you
messed
I
would
up.
if you could. I'm just kidding.
I can't get into those logistics, Jessica. But I have
wondering.
to
I
look
was just
into
like,
his
like
job
if they
and
If
want
you
to
could
be a part of it, and
retroactively
it's a
go back, you guys would
volunteer thing,
not
you just
confirm
let
me.
me
I already
know
know.
what
That's fine. Eric would be
volunteer.
like, heck no, we're definitely not doing that. But that's, hindsight's 2020, is I'm just kidding. Wait, Summer. All right,
I'll
so I have
let you
one
all
other.
know ahead of time once they're approved or if not.
Okay.
But in the meantime, if you have
Um,
someone that you're interested in sitting on the commission,
sure.
please send me their resume. And I
Um,
will forward that over to the mayor and his team.
just to move the meeting forward, one other thing. If I also want to create onboarding documents for commissioners and training materials. Something that's come up a lot during meetings is what is our responsibility and what falls under our purview and what doesn't. So for example, it's been questioned in several meetings whether our contracting art falls under our purview, and it does. Curating art, contracting art, coming up with our own projects and finding
Yes.
artists. We have a pretty wide purview. We're
Yes.
here as an advisory capacity to the city. So if Mayor Mallett comes to us for advice, that is literally in our responsibilities. So I just want to create like a document, like a PowerPoint training slide, and you guys can look at it, but especially for new commissioners and commissioners moving forward, just training and onboarding documents so that there's like clear, this is what the role of the commission is. This is what falls under our purview. This is our purpose. These are our funding sources so that everybody coming on is like really well educated about what we're doing on the commission. If someone wants to help volunteer, look at those things with me. Obviously, I'm going to run them by everybody, but if somebody wants to help, prepare those, as well as if somebody wants to help, with the maintenance plan talk or be involved with that, if I set up a meeting with Mac, if you guys can reach out to me or just volunteer, that would be extremely helpful. So that I have some help, out in between the meetings.
yeah, let me
Yeah,
know
we'll
about
lean
the
into
maintenance
those
plan. I'm
conversations.
interested in that because
Okay, Eric, I'll let you know.
I want to
Yeah.
see some things too. So
Yeah.
Let me know as well.
On the maintenance plan.
Yeah, if you're like working with Mac or
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna email Mac, and I'm gonna CC Summer and you and Eric and anyone else who wants. I'll send an email out after the meeting. This is what I'll do. I'll send an email out after the meeting. If you want to help with onboarding documents, if you want to help with the maintenance plan, if you want to help with other standard operating procedures, Jessica, if you have ideas for creative outside the box projects you want to try to get on the work plan, or if you want to help work
Yep.
on the work plan for 2026, I have a template
Yep.
document now we can use that I actually
Okay.
adopted from something Kat made originally. So, we have templates and documents to start working on these things. Just let me know
Okay.
what you want to work on and we can start, assigning tasks and getting some, standards together for this. So,
I think that's a
That
great
sounds
idea.
great. Yeah.
all right. Thanks, guys.
Anything when you meet with anyone outside, please include me in
Yeah, I
because
said I'd CC you on
we
the
have to
meeting.
do the best for the city. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. So on that note, I don't think we have anything else. So do we have any public art events coming up that anyone wants to talk about?
The artwork coming up tomorrow, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
tomorrow evening. And the Akron Soul downtown, they're gonna do
Mhm.
collages for people. And then Summit Art Space, they're having different vendors and on all three floors, and it's gonna be a nice event.
I
Yeah,
know
I don't know if you
something's
saw.
happening at the
Yeah,
Akron
there's a new Summit Art Space. I think Heather Meeker moved to curated storefront, and there's a new director or president at Summit Art Space now too. I
Yeah.
remember
She
her.
she like
Yep.
what I think she like the temporary executive director.
Yeah,
Intern,
the
they call it
I don't
interim.
know.
interim.
Yeah.
As an intern.
So, anyways,
Interim.
yeah, congrats to everyone, in the art community,
I
I
see
guess.
that. Don't laugh at me.
Are there any public comments, Summer?
There are no public comments, but what I would like to see going
Mhm.
into our 6th year is us partnering and
Yeah.
collaborating with Arts Now, Summit Art Space, Black Artists Guild,
Yes.
and many other artists. When they had the Jazz and Art Festival 2 weeks ago, we could have had a table down there and talk to people and let them know what's going on. I did go to each year I go to every single booth that has art and I give them my card.
Summer, I'll
And
walk with you if you can help hook me up with some of the people, and I know Max offered to introduce me to other folks as well. I do plan to meet some of these folks. I haven't had time until recently, but I would love for any of you guys to come with me to talk about, talking about how the Akron Public Art Commission can work with some of these groups. And there's other organizations that work with arts as well, you know, like the Conservancy for Cauca Valley National Park. One of our areas where we didn't have a lot of art, if you notice, was on the very north side of Akron. There was all these like legs, you know, where there was like almost no art. That's right up there on the national parks too. There's all these like areas that are kind of art deserts, and there's other organizations that work in public art as well. So, and I have contacts at some of these other organizations because I donate and volunteer to CCVNP as well. So, and I volunteer with some of these other orgs. So I'll reach out. But if you could help connect me with anyone, I would be more than willing to sit at a table or booth and give our spiel, you know, to anyone,
Okay.
or teach someone how to submit a request for public art. I'll
Got
teach
it.
it.
Well, this
That's
is
a
a
good
team,
idea.
not just you to do all the work. So we all should be collaborating together and doing
Mhm.
this. Also, I know year 2, I had said, you know, let's do a mixer so people can come and learn about public art, right? There's many artists that don't want to come to the commission because they think it's a hard process. It's not a hard process.
Mhm.
It's filling out the submittable application, giving your maintenance plan, providing your insurance, and telling us what you want to do. That's pretty much it, and being asked questions. Very easy 3-step process. But we need to get out to let people know that we're here, because there's still some organizations that don't realize the city of Akron has a public arts commission. And when I get those emails, I defer them back to, hey, you got to go through the commission. So I don't know what it is that you may want to do, but I think this is going on year 6. We need to be out in the open and letting people know that we're here. We're here to work with the community and residents and to put art in our community.
Was we
Okay.
supposed to get business cards too?
You
I
guys
thought when
never
we did
voted
our
on,
headshots.
you
Huh?
never voted on cards. There was one time where you guys said 25, 50, 100, what your name would look like, what you want on the back. No one ever came up with
All right,
I
we'll
didn't
put
know
stuff
that.
we'll put stuff together for that and vote on it in the next few meetings. I think the business cards aren't as important as going to the events and talking to people and introducing ourselves. So we can
But
work
if
on
you
both.
9 times out of 10, I'm already there. So if I'm already there
Yeah,
participating
no,
as an artist,
we can
I
work
can
on
have,
both.
you know, I
Well,
can
some of
pass out
us aren't.
something.
I'm busy, so I'm not always at all the events because I don't always know when they're going on. So so, but
and
I'll
we
come hang
can,
out with you. But I need to like get it on my calendar and get there, you know. So that's my fault. But
Andy, we all busy, love. We
yeah.
all busy. We all got something going on. We all do. But if we gonna commit to this, we gotta commit to it.
no,
I'm
I
an
agree.
artist,
I
so 9
agree.
times
That's what
out of
I'm
10,
saying.
I'm at
I
an
got to
artist
get there.
thing.
So I need to get on my
Yeah.
calendar so that I know to get there. That's the
I
issue.
got
So
you. I got you.
Oh.
We all
Yep.
busy, love.
What we can
Um,
do is present our business card to somebody if they're there, and then our phone number's on there, and they can call us and get more information if
And
they
stop
need.
harassing Summer.
No one's
Nah, we're gonna
harassing
send them
me.
to
This is
summer
my
anyways.
job. I promote it and I love what I do, but it would be nice for you guys to come out in the forefront and show that you are part of the commission and that you're here to do the work.
Yeah,
I'm
we
down
can do
for
a
that.
mixer.
I
Eric,
say we do 5 business cards and they have QR codes on them so we don't have to pass them out. It's
I say
immediate.
we
I
do a
like the QR
mixer,
code. I don't know about
and
5, but I like the QR
during
code.
the mixer, we need to have Eric do a solo dance performance.
Oh, I don't tap, dude. So I'm gonna sit there and look fine as hell in the corner and just make sure that we get our things done, right? So
You
All
better
right.
say it.
This meeting has
Megan, why
come
you
to an
shaking your
end.
head, Megan? Why are you shaking your head?
I'll do the solo
So
dance. Someone
why?
has to do a dance, so we're gonna figure that out. Maybe John will do it. All right.
Yeah. I
So
can see John.
Yes, volunteer John to dance.
Yes,
volunteer,
yes,
John. John,
Yep.
we all
If you
voted.
miss
We
out,
voted.
we voted against you.
We had
Yep.
quorum. You
gotta
have
do
to
it.
dance.
He
yes,
has to
yes.
dance.
Um,
I will say this: no one to me is as busy as Roberta because I see this woman
Oh,
all
yes.
over the
Roberta's
place,
everywhere.
And I can pass out
everywhere.
cards.
I
Yeah,
want to make
actually,
her
we should just
shirt,
get
call her
Roberta
Mrs.
cards, actually.
Akron, 'cause she's everywhere. I told her, I said, me and my husband said,
Everywhere.
we got to make her a shirt, Mrs. Akron. She is
Yes.
everywhere. She's a great
All right.
support.
All right, guys. I gotta run home. I have someone coming to look at my roof to replace some skylights. So I'm getting quotes for my personal projects. So
I got a guy for you too, if you need one.
I'm looking. I have like 5 different companies coming, so I'm playing the get
Ooh.
multiple quotes game. So I got my
Okay.
attic
Good luck.
wide open. I'm being like, yeah, there's been 3 people in here today, so it'll be fun. Anyways,
Good luck, Andy.
yeah. So if we're all good, there's no public comments, then I'm gonna go ahead and motion to adjourn the, or I'm just gonna go ahead and adjourn. We're not gonna motion to adjourn. We just adjourn. I'm tired. Okay. I'm just gonna adjourn the June 11th, 2025 Akron Public Art Commission meeting. So
You
great.
need
Good
to make a
Alright.
meeting,
motion-
everybody.
You need to make a motion
Good
to end the
meeting.
meeting.
We
This
have
is
to make
a-
a motion to
You
adjourn.
have to make. it's a
Yes.
meeting,
Oh
you
man,
have
it's been
quorum.
months and I haven't had this mistake. What happened
Nope.
to me? All
No,
right, I'd
you've
like
done
to
it before.
I'd like to motion to adjourn the June 11th, 2025 Akron Public Art Commission meeting.
I second that.
All right,
Jessica.
Jessica motions to adjourn. Do we have a second past Jessica?
I
Roberta.
second and third.
Megan seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
that adjourns the June 11th, 2025 Akron meeting
Good
officially
meeting,
on the books.
everybody. Nice seeing everyone.
Yeah,
Good
Good to
job.
see
All
everyone.
right.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
guys.
meeting. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Slinky.
Megan, oh, she hung up. Okay. never
Yeah,
mind.
she can.
I was trying to figure out who was all at the last meeting, but. okay.
Yeah, I wasn't there. This is the only one I missed this year, hopefully. So I don't know. It depends on if they send me out of the country more. So
You have Wi-Fi out of the country. You can jump on a Zoom call.
yeah, not if I'm teaching a class though in Asia, I'm sleeping. No, the
No,
one
it's-
last time I was actually in Las Vegas and I was teaching during the commission meeting, so I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
Yeah.